Arsenal's £114 million transfer shock. Bruno Guimarães talks opened and Christos Tzolis deal close. Gunners, this could be one of the biggest days of Arsenal's summer transfer window. Reports suggest Arsenal have now opened direct talks with Newcastle United over a sensational move for Brazilian midfield star Bruno Guimarães. At the same time, Arsenal are believed to be closing in on Club Brugge winger Christos Tzolis in a deal worth around £34 million. With the Greek international expected to replace Leandro Trossard, who is reportedly in discussions over a move to Turkish giants Besiktas. If you love Arsenal as much as we do, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's dive straight into today's massive Arsenal news. Come on, you Gunners! If both transfers happen, Arsenal could spend well over £110 million, showing that Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta are determined to build a squad capable of finally bringing the Premier League title back to North London. Let's begin with the headline everyone is talking about. Bruno Guimarães, Arsenal's dream midfielder. For several transfer windows, Arsenal supporters have dreamed of seeing Bruno Guimarães wearing the famous red and white shirt. Now those dreams may finally be getting closer to reality. According to the latest reports, Arsenal have taken a major step by opening direct communication with Newcastle United regarding the Brazilian midfielder. This isn't simply another rumour linking Arsenal to a world-class player. Direct talks usually indicate genuine interest and represent a significant stage in transfer negotiations. Whether Newcastle are prepared to negotiate remains the biggest question. Bruno has become one of the Premier League's elite midfielders. Since arriving in England, he has transformed Newcastle's midfield with his incredible work rate, technical quality, leadership and ability to dictate games. Every weekend, he demonstrates why so many clubs admire him. His passing range is exceptional, his defensive awareness is outstanding, his vision creates opportunities from seemingly impossible situations, and perhaps most importantly, he possesses the mentality of a winner. These are exactly the qualities Arsenal have been searching for. Imagine a midfield featuring Bruno Guimarães alongside Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice. That combination could become one of the strongest midfield trios anywhere in European football. Rice would provide defensive protection. Bruno would control possession and progress the ball. Odegaard would create chances in advanced areas. Each player perfectly complements the others. It is the type of balance every manager dreams of. For Mikel Arteta, adding Bruno could elevate Arsenal to another level. Over the last few seasons, Arsenal have come painfully close to winning the Premier League. They have challenged Manchester City until the final stages. However, there have been moments when injuries or fatigue exposed weaknesses in squad depth. Bringing in another elite midfielder would provide Arsenal with far greater flexibility throughout the season. Bruno is also entering the prime years of his career. Rather than signing a young player who still needs development, Arsenal would be acquiring someone already proven at the highest level. He understands the Premier League. He understands the physical demands. He understands high-pressure football. That experience is priceless. However, Newcastle are under no obligation to sell. Bruno remains one of their most valuable players. He is adored by supporters. He is respected inside the dressing room. He represents the ambition of the club. That is exactly why reports suggest Newcastle could demand around £80 million before considering any deal. It is a huge amount of money. But elite players command elite prices. The real question Arsenal must answer is whether Bruno is worth such a massive investment. Many supporters would immediately say yes, because players capable of transforming title races rarely become available. If Arsenal believe Bruno is the final piece of Arteta's puzzle, then £80 million could prove to be money well spent. The negotiations are expected to be difficult. Newcastle will fight hard to keep their star midfielder. Arsenal will attempt to structure a package that satisfies financial fair play, while still convincing Newcastle to negotiate. The coming days could become absolutely fascinating. One thing is certain, this story is only just beginning. The £80 million battle for Bruno Guimarães begins. But Gunners, here's where this transfer story becomes even more fascinating. Opening direct talks is one thing. Actually convincing Newcastle United to sell one of their most important players is something completely different. For Arsenal, this will not be a straightforward negotiation. Newcastle know exactly how valuable Bruno Guimarães is. Not only because of his performances on the pitch, but because of what he represents to the club. Since arriving at St James's Park, he has become a leader, a fan favourite and one of the faces of Newcastle's ambitious project. That is why reports suggest Newcastle value the Brazilian at around £80 million. For some clubs, that figure would immediately end the conversation, but Arsenal are no longer operating like a club that simply hopes to compete. They are acting like a club that expects to win. Over the past few years, the Gunners have invested heavily in players such as Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Ben White and others because Mikel Arteta has made one thing clear. If Arsenal want to become the best team in England, they must sign the very best players available. Bruno Guimarães fits that profile perfectly. One of Bruno's biggest strengths is his versatility. He isn't just a defensive midfielder. He isn't simply a box-to-box player. He can perform almost every midfield role at an elite level. Need someone to win tackles? Bruno delivers. Need someone to escape an aggressive press? Bruno delivers. Need someone to control the tempo in a difficult away match? Once again, Bruno delivers. Hey, very few midfielders combine intelligence, technical quality, physical strength and leadership the way he does. That is why so many football experts consider him among the Premier League's elite midfielders. Now imagine Arsenal in one of those huge title-deciding matches. The Emirates Stadium is packed. The atmosphere is electric. Martin Ødegaard is pulling the strings in attack. Declan Rice is breaking up opposition play. Then Bruno Guimarães receives the ball under pressure, calmly turns away from two opponents, drives into midfield and releases Bukayo Saka with a perfectly weighted pass. Those are the moments that win championships. Football is often decided by tiny margins. Sometimes it's one tackle, one interception, one accurate pass, one calm decision under pressure. Bruno consistently produces those moments. That's exactly why Arteta is believed to admire him so much. Another important factor is squad depth. Last season, Arsenal fought on multiple fronts: Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup. The schedule became relentless. Every 3 or 4 days there was another massive game. Fatigue inevitably became a factor. Injuries disrupted momentum. Having another world-class midfielder would allow Arteta to rotate without significantly weakening the team. That depth could prove decisive over a 38-game Premier League season. However, Newcastle hold a strong negotiating position. They are under no financial pressure to sell immediately. If they lose Bruno, replacing him would be incredibly difficult. Elite midfielders are rare. Finding someone with his quality, leadership and Premier League experience would cost Newcastle a significant amount themselves. That is why Arsenal's sporting director and negotiating team must approach these discussions carefully. Every detail matters. The payment structure, potential bonuses, performance-related clauses, instalments. Even sell-on percentages could become part of the negotiations. Modern transfers are far more complex than simply agreeing on one transfer fee. Both clubs will try to secure the best possible deal. Meanwhile, Arsenal supporters around the world are watching every update closely. Social media is filled with excitement. Some fans believe Bruno would immediately become one of the club's most important players. Others wonder whether spending £80 million on one midfielder is the right decision when Arsenal are also strengthening other areas of the squad. It's a debate that continues to divide opinion. But one thing almost everyone agrees on is this. If Arsenal managed to sign Bruno Guimarães, it would send a powerful message to the rest of the Premier League. It would show Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United and the rest of Europe that Arsenal are serious about winning the biggest trophies. And remember, Bruno isn't the only transfer story developing today. While negotiations continue with Newcastle, Arsenal are also moving quickly to complete another exciting signing, one that could reshape their attack. Reports suggest the Gunners are now closing in on Christos Tzolis, with the talented winger expected to arrive from Club Brugge in a deal worth around £34 million. But why are Arsenal targeting Tzolis, and what does this mean for Leandro Trossard, who is reportedly in talks with Besiktas? The answers could completely change Arsenal's attacking options heading into the new season. Stay with us, because in part 3 we'll break down everything you need to know about Christos Tzolis, why Arteta wants him, Trossard's expected departure, and what Arsenal's attack could look like if both deals are completed. Tzolis set to arrive as Trossard edges toward the exit. Now Gunners, while Bruno Guimarães is dominating the headlines, Arsenal are reportedly making equally important progress in another area of the squad. According to the latest reports, the Gunners are finalising a deal worth around £34 million for Club Brugge winger Christos Tzolis. If completed, this signing could be one of the smartest pieces of business Arsenal make this summer. At first glance, some supporters may ask, why would Arsenal sign another winger when they already have Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard? The answer lies in Mikel Arteta's long-term vision. Modern football demands depth. Teams competing for the Premier League and Champions League cannot rely on just one or two elite attackers. Injuries, suspensions and fixture congestion can quickly derail a season. Arteta wants 2 high-quality players in every position. That is exactly why Arsenal have been monitoring talented wide players across Europe. And Christos Tzolis has emerged as one of the most exciting. The Greek international has impressed with his pace, direct dribbling, intelligent movement and eye for goal. He is fearless when taking on defenders. He is comfortable cutting inside to shoot or staying wide to stretch the opposition. Most importantly, he is still young, meaning Arteta and his coaching staff believe there is even more room for improvement. Arsenal's recruitment strategy has changed dramatically over the last few years. Instead of signing players based purely on reputation, the club now focuses on footballers who fit Arteta's tactical system. Tzolis appears to fit that profile perfectly. He presses aggressively from the front. He works hard without the ball. He makes intelligent runs into dangerous areas. Those qualities are essential in Arteta's high-intensity style of football. What does this mean for Leandro Trossard? Perhaps the biggest talking point surrounding this deal is the future of Leandro Trossard. Reports suggest the Belgian international is in discussions over a possible move to Besiktas. If those talks lead to an agreement, Arsenal would lose one of their most experienced attacking players. Trossard has played a crucial role since joining the Gunners. Time and again, he has delivered in important moments. Whether starting matches or coming off the bench, he has scored goals, created chances and shown remarkable versatility by playing across the front line. His calmness under pressure has earned him the respect of Arsenal supporters. However, football is constantly evolving. If Trossard decides that a new challenge is best for his career and Arsenal receive an offer they consider fair, the club may feel this is the right time to refresh the squad. Replacing an experienced player is never easy, but Arsenal believe Tzolis has the talent to develop into an important part of the team's future. A new look Arsenal attack. Imagine Arsenal beginning next season with Bukayo Saka on the right, Gabriel Martinelli or Christos Tzolis on the left, Kai Havertz or another striker through the middle, Martin Ødegaard creating chances behind them. Add Bruno Guimarães and Declan Rice controlling midfield and suddenly Arsenal look even stronger than they did last season. The competition for places would also increase. Every training session would become more intense because players know they must earn their spot. That internal competition often brings out the very best in elite squads. Why these transfers matter. For the past 3 seasons, Arsenal have consistently challenged at the top of English football, but finishing second is no longer enough. The club wants trophies. The supporters expect trophies. And Arteta knows that marginal improvements can make the difference between lifting the Premier League title and narrowly missing out once again. Bruno Guimarães would bring leadership, control and experience. Christos Tzolis would add pace, creativity and youthful energy. Together, they would strengthen 2 key areas of the squad. Of course, it is important to remember that these moves are still subject to negotiations and official agreements. Until Arsenal, Newcastle, Club Brugge or the players themselves make official announcements, supporters should treat these reports as developing transfer news rather than confirmed signings. Final thoughts. This could be a defining week in Arsenal's summer transfer window. The club is reportedly working on 2 significant deals that could reshape both the midfield and attack ahead of a season in which expectations will be higher than ever. Will Arsenal convince Newcastle to sell Bruno Guimarães? Will Christos Tzolis become the next exciting addition at the Emirates? Will Leandro Trossard begin a new chapter in Turkey? The answers should become clearer in the coming days, and we'll be here to bring you every update as it happens. If you enjoyed today's breaking news, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Arsenal Daily Talk and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Arsenal transfer updates, exclusive analysis and all the biggest stories from the Emirates. Thank you for watching, and as always, come on you Gunners.